Goodie Tissues. My name is Aubrie Rose. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry, the lighting was a little off. So I don't have everything that I need to do the full recap, but yeah, this is gonna be January recap. Let's see. So the first week of the new year went fairly well, at least for the first 3 days. I felt like I was doing everything that I wanted to do, and then I think I fell a little bit behind, and so then that kind of I struggled a little bit for the last few days of that first week. And then the second week, I had my surgery. So the first few days before the surgery, I just I worked on a new project because I wasn't going to be able to finish anything for my main projects before my surgery. So I just explored a new idea. So I worked on a different project for a little bit. I want to do a blog post on sort of how that went and the new plotting method that I sort of used for that, and that was interesting. Then I had my surgery and it wasn't terrible. It was fine, really. Recovery was a little rough, but it was just like, it was mostly inconvenient and not fun to not be able to chew things. And honestly, it wasn't even terrible for the first bit. It was just like drinking tons of yogurt and I was fine and I was happy. And I read 13 books in January, and that was mostly during recovery. So before recovery, I read through The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I have some notes on it. I could pull them out here. I read it in front of the TV for the first part of it, so it's hard for me to focus. It's not very scientifically accurate, so it's like, sort of like DID. It had me for a little bit for like, yeah, this could happen, and then like the person changed their actual physical like shape, and that's not how it works. So it's a cool book. I intend to reread it, especially because it's like older English and I feel like you have to spend a little bit more time on it and not read it as fast as I did to like understand it and to get more from it. And then after I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I can't remember, but I put almost all of Marissa Meyer's audiobooks on hold at Libby, and then I have most of the copies I have quite a few copies of her books. So I was just rereading, I reread Cinder, I reread Scarlet, Crest, and Winter. I borrowed Fairest, a physical copy of Fairest from the library, and Fairest, I think I actually I've tried to read it a couple of times. I know I tried to read it, I think I may have finished reading it once, or I got close and didn't, but this time I did finish it, and it's depressing, but yeah, villain origin stories, but it was depressing. And then I read through Renegades again. I read through, Renegades, Arch Enemies, and Supernova. I have Arch Enemies. I didn't have the other two, so I borrowed those from the library as well. My mom or my dad, I think it was my mom, was super sweet and picked the books up for me. And so then I also read a kind of Lunar Chronicles short story that Marissa wrote, and I didn't think it was as good, which was kind of disappointing. I read Stars Above. I bought a copy of that on the Monday after my surgery, so like I gave myself so I had the surgery on Wednesday. I gave myself Wednesday through Sunday to recover, and then I was like, because my recovery was going so well and I felt fine, I was like, I'm just going to start up again on Monday. And so by starting up again on Monday, it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I spent the day with my mom and my brothers, and that was fun, and I overexerted myself. So yeah, that week was a little rough, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take another rest week, and that was probably good. But yeah, that was also my birthday weekend, so my birthday was on Sunday, and that was fun as well. And yeah, back to books. So I know that the Renegades fan group is very large, and like those are their favorite books ever, and I definitely like I get the appeal. I love Marissa Meyer's writing. They're definitely not my favorite books, but they are so well written and they're just very well done, especially the last book. Like, if you want to figure out how to plot a trilogy, pick up Renegades, read the whole trilogy. Even if you're not like the hugest fan of the book, like read through the trilogy and see how she plots it, especially that last book. It is stunning. It is beautiful. Highly recommend. I finished Gilded, and I really liked Gilded. There were some like just so the publishing industry is woke. It has a lot of propaganda, and it just feels like every single book has been infiltrated with this now. Like, you can't publish a book without having something in there. And Marissa Meyer, when there was that stuff in there, it just wasn't done well. It wasn't realistic. It wasn't very good. There wasn't a lot of it in the first book, which was nice. So it was just like, there were some parts that I'm like, this doesn't fit, and I don't even like that. It doesn't work. But I really liked the world building. I liked the story. I liked the retelling. I thought Gilded was done fairly well. And then Cursed, this was the first book that I hadn't listened to on audiobook, or hadn't been listening to on audiobook at like 3x speed. So I was reading it like twice as slow, 2 times as slow, 3 times as slow, something along those lines. So I was reading it a lot slower, and so that could have had some effect on it, but it just didn't feel like it was done as well. It wasn't plotted as well as the Renegades series was, which was kind of sad. So it just seemed like there were too many little plot lines, there were too many little complications and little tiny adventures that we were going on, and it seemed like the main character was like, oh, we're gonna go and, or I'm going to try to do this thing, and then she would just get stopped right away and nothing would happen. And so it would be like moving forward, but she wasn't really moving the story forward. She was just kind of like a pawn in the story and getting thrown around in the sea. That's kind of what it felt like. It wasn't like there was this main, I mean there was, but it wasn't like there was this main plot and we were like, in book 1, so this is how it should have been plotted out, in my opinion. So book 1 should have had like the main struggle that we were going through, and I think it sort of did that. And then there was supposed to be like some sort of plan to defeat the bad guy, which would have failed at the end of book 1, thus the duology. And so then there would have been like a trying to come up with a new plan in book 2, and then executing that plan, and then this time it works. It didn't really work out like that. It was just like there were so many different things that were happening, and it didn't flow very well as a story as a whole. It was just, and then there were some like definitely some personal things that I didn't like with it, and so that was yeah. And the magic system wasn't, it didn't feel like we had the rules set to the magic system, so I didn't mean for this to be a book rant, but yeah, so I didn't really like Cursed. That was the second book, sorry. Cursed, and I call it Cursed, but because Gilded and Cursed, but anyway. Yeah, so it wasn't my favorite book of hers, which was kind of sad, but I definitely will still continue to read her books, but this one wasn't my favorite. I still liked Gilded, I just didn't really like Cursed. So I think that was it. I started reading a couple more books, but I haven't finished anything else. I started to read Heartless during this time as well. I still have it on audiobook. I am still annotating it. It's just taking a little while, but I will have a video on that once I'm done, and I am very excited for that. I don't know when it's coming. It's on my list, so I'll try to work on it a little bit more, but I also don't want it to be like something to do. I want it to be a fun thing. But yeah, so struggling with that. But yeah, so those were all the books that I read, and I also bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I bought 13 books. And I was gifted 3 books. So I received 16 books this this month. Yeah, book buying bans, I don't know. I should probably do something. I've started budgeting, so don't be worried about me. Anything that I do in this case will be my fault. But yes, there are some other books that I want to buy, and what is it? Half Price Books keeps giving me coupons. I think I'm going to try to like use the coupons as an excuse to buy books, but also like try to buy some notebooks, try to, I'm furthering the collection of the beautiful like horror story books. I'm going to try to collect all, if not most, if not all. That's what I was going for. So yeah, and then I've started reading another book. I don't think I'm gonna go over that. That'll be in my February recap or whatever. Yes, so that was reading, and then so I didn't do very well on the writing front. I on that Monday I did start to try to do something writing related, and so I turned on my laptop after it had been shut down during my surgery and whatnot. Surgery and recovery. So I turned on my laptop, and then I think I didn't shut it down. I didn't clear my history like I've been trying to do because my laptop's been a little bit slow lately. So then I decided to take another rest week and didn't take care of my laptop. So that was definitely not the best thing to do. In either Sunday or Monday, I think it was Monday, I started work on my laptop again, and it was fine, and the battery was running low, but it didn't yell at me that like, oh, you need to plug in your laptop, and I was just like, I'll plug it in because it's running low and I'll work somewhere different. But as I'm going to plug in my laptop and charge it, it makes the sound that it normally makes when I force it to shut down. I did not touch the force shutdown button, and even if I had, it probably would have taken a lot longer than it just shut down. It was completely black screen. It was like, I think it died, but I set it on my desk, I plugged it in, and the little light that says it's charging did not turn on. So my laptop died, and yeah, so it's been a struggle to work on things the last week. I don't remember exactly when that happened. I can still look, like I still have everything, nothing deleted. There was nothing that was like only on my laptop. Everything's on separate apps. It's totally fine. But it's just not as easy to work on things. I either have to use my dad's laptop or write on my phone. And I'm considering like buying a new device. First though, I am going to get it looked at. Like, I'd really prefer to just buy another one, but I'm going to get it looked at in February, so that's going to be a thing. I've slowly still worked on a few things, and so I did want to talk about that and the new things that have been going on with the friend group project. The friend group series is actually going to be called the friend group series now. I was just calling it that to document the journey, but we are officially calling it the friend group series. But there's more news. So when I was taking a shower, not today, even though my hair's still like curly wet, this was last week, I was like, I have this one book that sets up the rest of the series, but it happens 4 years before the rest of the series. And so I'm like, hey, my main character in this book that happens 4 years before the rest of the series, he's got friends. His love interest has a friend. I could write her story. I could write his friend's stories. I already have a story for one of his friends. It's just a short story. Maybe I can make it longer and kind of work in there with his college years. And yeah, so I am writing. The way that I'm going to do it is I have the series that happens 4 years before. I have the main series that I first came up with, and then I have a few extras, some short stories, and I think I want to do at least 3 novellas of another thing that kind of happens in this world, in this story, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to plot that out. Yes, so I'm adding even more books to the series. It is becoming a massive project. So I have 5 books in the 4 years before. I have 5 books in the main series that I was coming up with. So I don't know how those are going to be connected, how they're going to be separated. I mean, I know how they're going to be connected. I don't know how I'm going to market them and how I'm going to like keep track of them separately. So I don't know if it's going to be like 1 through 5 and then 1 through 5, or if it's going to be 5 through 10 or 6 through 10. I can do maths. And then short stories. Some of the short stories I know are definitely just probably going to be part of a Patreon or something. Yes. And then, yeah, something else that I do still want to publish, that I'm not talking about yet. Not because, like, it's super secret or whatever, it's just hard to explain without explaining everything else in this series. So, yeah, that's gonna be like a little novelette trilogy, or that's what I want it to be, even though I don't have ideas. I sort of do. Yeah, so this has become a massive project, and I've started drafting the 4 years before the first book there. I think this is gonna switch, so I should be talking about it over here. It's fine. So the 4 years before project, I've started to draft book 1. I've written the first chapter. Some problems that I'm having with that are character voice. Character voice is not great. And then I messed up a few things with my outline. But yeah, so I need to work on character voice, and I haven't moved on in that draft because I need to outline some things. So the way that I'm going to continue to plot the rest of the series is I'm going to write the summary for the book. I'm going to write the outline, the summary, the plot. That's just kind of how I've been doing it. So I'm going to write the summary, the plot, the outline, and then I'm going to either like profile new characters that I haven't already profiled, and I'm definitely going to world build. I'm going to add anything into my plotting after I've already written the summary, and then I'm going to start drafting. I am good at fast drafting. I need to fast draft. I've already messed up with this first book because I've only written like 2,000 words, if that, and I really should be like closer to 10,000 words because I need to fast draft and I need to have that momentum, and that really helps me finish a draft. So not having that and not having a good character voice, I'm already setting myself up for a rough time, but I'm going to work with that. And yes, for the main series, like what it was before, I've drafted 3 of those books. The second book in the series is the, in this section out of these 5. So the second book, this was the first one that I drafted. This was supposed to be the first book of the series, and it is not even close to being the first book in the series. Now it's the second in this section, and it has, so the reason why I was going to this book in the first place was the main character from the first book that I'm now drafting, he has a few lines in there, and so I was trying to see if his voice was better and if his voice is kind of what I wanted it to be in that draft, and it's not. I'm still going to have to like rewrite his lines and give him the voice that I want him to have, so that way it's consistent. But I was reading through this book and I absolutely love it. Like it was funny, it was all the vibes and the romantic comedy that I want. It was set up well, like I was doing the things. It was like what I wanted it to be. And so I have started to rewrite or revise. I've started to revise that draft. I think it's a very clean draft. There are definitely some things that I need to fix, and I've already put in some tabs of things that I need to add, and I'm going to do that. But I am loving this story, and I think also going through this is going to help me just like remember the vibes and remember the kind of plot and outline that I want and what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, because this draft kind of does that. And so what's unfortunate about this, or just this learning process, is that the revision is going very well for me right now. I've tried to revise this book before and it went terribly. I don't know how long ago I drafted this book. Like, I need a long break before I start revising. And I was hoping that I didn't have to be like that, but I do. I think I do. So I need to have a long break between drafts and revisions, which means I need to double down and plot, and I need to double down and fast draft, so that way I can get closer to like just having that break between projects. So even if I'm not like plotting everything right now, I need to fast draft. I need to fast draft some of these dang books, so that way like I have time to continue to work on them and have a longer break for revisions, because I need that. And yeah, so the second book, I'm going to continue to revise that, and I think I'm even gonna try to like edit it and just get that one as polished and as good as I can, and just like set it aside. I'd really like to get to that that point. I don't know if when I can, but that is also kind of a new goal. And drafting is a kind of new goal as well. I was mostly just trying to plot, but now I'm like, I need to draft and I need to get these books done. And yes, so definitely going to be working on that. I have drafted 2 other books in like the main series. Those drafts did not turn out as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably plot those out first. Plot and summarize them, or write the summaries for those first, and then either go back and pick out some things or just like redraft them entirely, because I think they might need that. Like for the book 2, that book is working very well. Like it works well as it is right now. I know that there are definitely some things that I need to fix in like the later half of it, but right now it's very easy. I'm just revising a few things, narrowing down character voice, and it's going amazing. Yeah, but the other ones, I know that they're a hot mess. So I definitely need to like probably redraft them entirely. It probably won't be like easy revisions. So yeah, just I guess updating you guys on that. And yeah, so that has been crazy. And I was also like wanting to character profile my serial and to do some world building yesterday and today. I did not do that, but I do still intend to publish the serial. It's just been hard because I don't want to work on that project right now. I want to work on my friend group series. I want to work on revisions for this, but I said that I was going to publish this. I said that I was going to start publishing, I think February 7th, February 8th. I can't remember if I actually said the date right or not, but Tuesday in February, I'm going to start publishing. So I do still want to do that, and I do still intend to do that. It hurts my brain to think about it right now, but that is still something that I need to do, something that I want to do, and it hasn't been going to plan, but there's still time. And yeah, so I'm going to work on that as well. I think I start drafting tomorrow, which is scary, but I'm not really excited for that right now, I'm not gonna lie, but that is also happening. And yes, so blogging has been awful. I think I blogged like twice this month. I don't think that's actually accurate, but it feels like it. And posting has been going semi-well. It's been going pretty well, but it hasn't been as consistent as I would want it to be. But yes, I think that is the rest of what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I think that is it. Let me know how your first month of 2023 was. I can't believe we're already 1 month down, 11 to go, and that is still a lot. But yeah, and then what your goals are for February. If you want to see my February goals, they are in my Facebook. I've done a little post about that, and I'm probably only going to be posting that on Facebook. I don't remember if I had anything else for anywhere else. But if you do want to know like my main goals besides the things that I've been changing, you can also see my Q1 goals video that I redid. That was rough. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.